A long, long time ago, there was a beautiful village at the foot of a mountain. In that village, there was an ashram. An ashram was like a school in the old days. The students lived there, studied, and also learned the art of warfare. The teachers took great care in shaping the students into good human beings. In this ashram, there were two friends. One was named Neil, and the other was Rudra. Neil was an expert in archery. His aim was excellent. Whenever he held a bow, his eyes became sharp like a hawk's. He could hit even a distant target in a single shot. But Neil had one big problem. He was very weak in studies. Whenever he sat with a book, sleep came to his eyes. He could not remember difficult lessons at all. On the other hand, Rudra was the opposite. In studies, he was like a precious gem. Whatever the teacher taught, Rudra memorized it instantly. But in sports or archery, he was very poor. Whenever he held a bow, his hands would shake. One day, a big exam was held in the ashram. When the results were announced, everyone saw that Rudra had scored the highest marks and became first. And Neil? He failed very badly. Neil became very sad. In the afternoon, he went to sit quietly under a large banyan tree behind the ashram. His heart was filled with only one pain. Why can't I be like Rudra? Why didn't Allah give me intelligence? Nothing good will ever come for me. Just then, the head teacher of the ashram came there. He was a very wise man and loved his students dearly. Just by looking at Neil's face, he understood that something was troubling him. The teacher sat beside Neil, gently stroked his head, and said, "What happened, my child Neil? Why are you sitting here with such a dark face?" Neil wiped his tears and said, "Guruji, I am useless. Look, Rudra got such a good result. Everyone praises him, and I am a fool. I can't do anything." The teacher smiled softly and said, "Neil, you are comparing yourself with Rudra, and that is why you are suffering. I want to teach you 3 great lessons of life. If you follow these 3 teachings, your life will change. But to learn them, you must complete 3 tasks that I will give you. Are you willing?" Neil respected the teacher very much. He immediately agreed. The teacher said, "Your first task is this. Tomorrow morning, you will take Rudra to the archery field, and you will ask him to compete with you in archery." Neil was surprised. He thought, Rudra doesn't even know how to hold a bow. How will he compete with me? Still, following the teacher's words, the next morning he took Rudra to the field. The morning was very beautiful. Neil excitedly took out his bow. He said to Rudra, "Come, my friend, today let's see who can shoot arrows better." Rudra was terrified. He said, "I can't do these things." But because of Neil's insistence, he finally held the bow. First, Neil shot an arrow. There was a sharp whoosh sound, and the arrow went straight and struck a fruit on a distant tree, a perfect shot. Neil felt very proud. Then it was Rudra's turn. Rudra struggled hard to pull the bowstring, but the arrow didn't go properly at all. It slipped from his hand and fell near his own feet. Rudra turned red with embarrassment, but Neil secretly enjoyed it. He thought, "At least I can do this better than him." In the afternoon, Neil went to the teacher. There was a wide smile on his face. The teacher asked, "So, Neil, what did you see today?" Neil said, "Guruji, I won. I hit the target every time, and Rudra couldn't even hold the bow properly." Then the teacher said, "This is your first lesson. Understand it well. All this time you thought you were foolish because you were competing with Rudra in studies. But today in the field, Rudra lost to you. This means Allah does not give everyone every skill. Just as a fish cannot climb a tree and a bird cannot swim underwater, Rudra is the best at the study table, and you are the best in the field. So comparing yourself with others and feeling sad is foolishness. Be proud of your own strength. Neil lowered his head and thought, "That's true. I never thought of it that way." Then the teacher said, "Now it is time for the second lesson. Tomorrow you will stay with Rudra like his shadow all day. Just observe what he does all day. Especially watch carefully what he does when he sits to study." The next day, Neil did exactly that. He saw that Rudra woke up before everyone else in the early morning. After washing his face, he immediately sat down with his books. At noon, when other students were resting or chatting, Rudra sat in the library trying to understand difficult math problems. Even while eating, he was silently repeating his lessons in his mind. Neil watched all day and saw that Rudra did not waste a single moment. He read the same lessons again and again until they entered his mind. In the afternoon, Neil went again to the teacher. The teacher asked, "My child, what did you see today?" Neil said, "Guruji, I am amazed. Rudra studied all day. He didn't take any rest, didn't chat with anyone. If he didn't understand a lesson, he tried to read it 10 times. The teacher smiled and said, "This is your second lesson, effort and hard work. You think Rudra is naturally intelligent, but today you saw that behind this intelligence is his bone-breaking hard work. Just as you practiced archery for hours under the hot sun, Rudra gave his time to studies. If you want to become good at something, you must give time to it. Nothing happens with a magic wand. Everything comes through habit." Neil understood that whenever he sat to study, he became impatient, but Rudra did not. That was the difference. Then the teacher said, "Now comes the final lesson, and it is the most important. Tonight you have a difficult task. I want you to study 3 times longer than Rudra. If Rudra studies for 1 hour, you will study for 3 hours. Can you do it?" Neil gathered his courage and said, "I can, Guruji." That night after dinner, when everyone was preparing to sleep, Neil sat with his books. Rudra studied for 1 hour and then fell asleep. Neil was still studying. 1 hour passed. Neil's eyes began to burn. After 1.5 hours, his back started to ache. The letters began to dance in front of his eyes. After 2 hours, he felt as if his head would burst. He could no longer concentrate. Finally, exhausted, he laid his head on the book and fell asleep. The next morning, Neil went to the teacher with great embarrassment. He said, "Guruji, I couldn't do it. Forget studying 3 times more than Rudra. I couldn't even study twice as long. I had a terrible headache and I fell asleep. I have lost." The teacher gently placed his hand on Neil's head and said, "My child, don't be sad. You have not lost. This is exactly where you must learn." The teacher explained, "This is your third and final lesson, love. Tell me, when you stand for hours under the sun practicing archery, do you get headaches? Do you feel tired?" Neil replied, "No, Guruji. At that time, I feel great joy." The teacher said, "Exactly, because you love archery. It is your favorite work. Rudra loves studying, so even after hours of reading, he doesn't feel tired. But you do not have that love for study, so you could not force yourself to study longer." Neil asked, "Then should I give up studying?" The teacher replied, "No, but you must change the way you learn. Do not force yourself to memorize. Try to find joy in learning. And most importantly, to succeed in life, choose the work you truly love. Your real strength is your bow. Make that your life's goal." That day, Neil left the ashram a completely new person. All sadness disappeared from his heart. He learned 3 precious lessons. Do not compare yourself with others. Rudra is good at studies, Neil is good in the field. Keep trying. He will work regularly, little by little, to overcome his weaknesses. Work with joy.
Whatever he does, he will do it with love, not as a burden. From then on, Neil became famous as the best archer in the ashram, and he also improved in studies because now he no longer studied out of fear, but out of curiosity to learn. All of us have different talents inside us. It is not right to feel sad by seeing others' strengths. If we find the work we love and put our heart into it, success will surely come.